Hello and welcome to another Manga Spotlight. Today's series is Yuri Panic, an extremely precious affair has begun by Nakamura Kanko. And the basic gist of this series is that we have our main character. Her name is Akari, and Akari is a loner. She's just a plain high school girl, but she receives a marriage proposal from the most popular girl at the school. And you may think, okay, well, that's kind of just like a really basic cliche kind of premise. But then the series gets very weird. It gets crazy out there. There are times where I'm like, wait, what? What did I just read? What's going on? And we'll get into that. So the actual official summary is this. The most beautiful girl in my class proposes to me, a loner? On her first day at school, Akari, a plain high school girl, suddenly receives a marriage registration from the conspicuous Kiyozumi Runa, a girl meets girl school romantic comedy where a girl and her yuri-brained imaginary friend Omochi get caught up in a precious affair. So yeah, we have Akari. Akari is your typical plain high school girl. I mean, I think she's kind of adorable, but she just sees herself as like a loner. And one day she looks into her locker and she sees a note with a heart on it. And she's like, school just started. We haven't even done orientation yet. I don't know anyone in this school. Why the hell is there a note in my locker with a heart on it? Especially since I tried my best to like make myself look invisible so that people would avoid talking to me. And her name is on it, so she's like, this was clearly addressed to me. It wasn't some kind of mistake. And she opens it up, and it's a marriage registration. All she needs to do is she just needs to sign her name on it, and she will be officially married. And she's just like, what the? Who did this? Like, she looks at the name. It says Kiyozumi Runa. She's like, wait, Runa? Like, she's the most popular girl. Like, she's super pretty to the point where nobody even wants to approach her. Like, she just has this aura about her that draws people in, but no one wants to talk to her or like really approach her because they feel like they're like just beneath her. Like, that's how much of a pedestal everyone puts her on. And she's never looked my way. She's never said anything to me. She has no idea who I am. I don't think, because again, this is like my first time here. This is a brand new school year. We haven't even had school orientation. No one really knows anybody unless they met each other in previous schools. So what the hell's going on here? Why is this stranger giving me a marriage proposal? And she looks up, and Rona's right there just like staring at her. And this is one of the things that I love about this series so far, even though it's very early. It's only, at the time of this recording, 4 chapters. But the characters. Runa is kind of hard to describe. Like, when you see her, you think, oh, she's going to be like that stoic, quiet, but very strong individual, right? The kind of person who doesn't take crap from anybody. The person who's like super serious, takes what she wants. But no, she's just very weird. She is very stoic, but not necessarily in a personality sort of way, just as in that's just her facial expression. But she acts very weird and kind of goofy at times. Like right now, she's just laying on top of the locker staring at Akari. And she like jumps and leaps away. And Akari's like, what the hell was all this about? She goes home where she lives by herself. And we have her imaginary friend named Omochi, which is like a stuffed bird. But Akari talks to it as if it's alive. And the thing talks back to her as if it's alive. And Omochi is very obsessed with Yuri. It's very obsessed with girl romance. When Akari is like telling her about the marriage registration, Omochi's like, wait, but don't you go to an all-girls school? Please explain everything in detail. And so Akari like explains everything in detail. And Omochi's like basically kind of acting as the wingman for Akari. The thing is like breaking down everything in the letter, what everything means. And eventually he kind of stops in the middle of his explanation because it's like, wait, I need to take a break because the new Yuri chapter just came out. There's like this series that Omochi is completely obsessed with. It's called Bitter Kiss at the Last Stop. It's a Yuri manga. And Omochi's like, this conversation isn't over. Just give me 10 minutes to read this, and then we'll get right back to you. And basically, through the conversation, we discover that Omochi is just completely obsessed with girl-girl romance. It sees that as like the purest form of love. And it's kind of trying to do what it can to almost kind of push Akari to go in that direction, because Akari has never really thought about romance, and especially not romance with another girl. And so Akari goes to school the next day, and this is what I mean by Runa just being weird. Runa is just crawling on the floor to spook Akari, and basically says, I figured you'd be wary of the shoe locker in the area above after what happened yesterday. And since I was in my uniform, I crawled up to the shoe locker while you were opening it, thinking you wouldn't be cautious about the lower area. So I've won. It's like, wait, what? This is like some kind of competition? What do you mean you won? Because you surprised me? So we have Akari. She basically gets overwhelmed by this. She faints. She wakes up. And we have the school nurse. And the school nurse looks like a high school girl. And it turns out that the school nurse is freaking weird too. The school nurse is obsessed with schoolgirl uniforms. Like the way she describes it, like Akari's like very weirded out because she's like, wait, you're obsessed with schoolgirl uniforms. Does that mean you're obsessed with schoolgirls? Like, you're an adult. That's very, very weird. I don't think you should be the nurse at an all-girls school. But the nurse is basically explaining, no, it's not the girls itself. It's just the uniform. Like, I like the uniforms, and I guess the girls in the uniforms can make it cute. But think of a high school girl in a uniform as fried chicken. High school girls are the chicken. The uniform is the batter. I love the batter. And Akari's just like, what? What is this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But Akari's like, okay, I'm going to go home. Like, this is just too weird. All we have today is orientation anyways. We don't have any classes really, so I'm just going to go home. So Akari just goes home. There's a buzz at her door. She looks through the intercom, and it's Runa. And Runa's just standing there with a blank face, and Akari's freaking out. She's like, how the hell does she know where I live? This is just very, very weird. And Omochi's like, hey, maybe she just wanted to see you. And he's basically trying to push the Yuri thing onto her. But Akari's like, how does this girl know where I live? Like, was she stalking me? I'm home alone. Like, this is just very scary to have someone just suddenly show up at my house. But it starts raining. A lot of time passes. And she looks out, and Runa is still there. She's just standing out in the rain. And Akari is like, all right, I feel bad. Let's let her in. So she lets Runa in. Akari's like, why don't you go change? And Runa's like, okay, I have my gym clothes. And Akari's like, oh, okay. Well, you can change in the dressing room here. You can use the hair dryer. I'm glad that you have your gym clothes. Runa's like, oh, thanks. If I didn't have my gym clothes, would Akari have lent me hers? And Akari's like, well, yeah, I guess so. And Runa's like, well, then I'm going to go burn my gym clothes. So Akari, can you lend me your clothes? Just again, to show you how just like kind of crazy that Runa is. She's just really out there. And we have a moment where Runa is getting changed into her gym clothes. And Akari is talking to Omochi. And Runa comes out and just straight up says, I'm not wearing bra or panties. Akari's like, okay, like why are you telling me that? I didn't need to know that. And so Runa's like, oh, so I guess Akari still isn't into that kind of thing. Okay, I got it. She says, like, earlier I memorized the shampoo, conditioner, body, soap, toothpaste, facial wash, lotion, emulsion, and brand of hairdryer that Akari uses. I'll go buy the same ones later. So basically, yeah, Runa is just completely out there. She's just out of her mind. But Runa basically says, I came here to give you your tablet that the school gives. I think you can download all the materials that we received today. That way you won't be lost when you go to school the next day. Like, you'll be all caught up on everything. And then we even get to see how their school teacher is. Where the school teacher, the very first thing she said in her intro was that she's not looking for a boyfriend, but she's definitely looking for followers on SNS, which I guess is kind of like Twitter or TikTok or whatever. It's like a social media thing. So yeah, their teacher is obsessed with getting followers on her social media. That's how weird everyone has been so far. But before she's about to leave, Runa is like, by the way, I saw that you were talking with that little white football. What is that? And Akari's like, oh, this is Omochi. This is my imaginary friend. It's a felt plushie that I've had since I was a kid. And I know it's kind of weird, kids make up imaginary friends and they eventually grow out of it. And I never did. And I know that's just kind of weird, and Runa's like, no, that's not weird. I know what imaginary friends are. I don't think it's weird that you have one. I just think it's weird that others can hear the voices of imaginary friends. And that they can also float around and flap their wings. And that's when Akira's like, wait, what? You could hear what Omochi is saying? And then Omochi just straight up says, Omochi's real name is Harmonica, and I'm an alien. And I'm just like, wait, what? On the third chapter, like, what the hell is going on? And that's when things get even more weird. Omochi basically says that it comes from a planet far away from Earth. It's a pink gold asteroid called Emojan. That's Omochi's home planet. And basically, we had like highly advanced science and technology that we're able to leave our physical bodies behind and transfer our consciousness into any object that we wanted. And Omochi just starts telling the story about how on its planet there was a tragic war occurred. Basically, the arts and culture thrived, and drama series were particularly loved. And there was this series called Even If the Glass Slipper Shatters, which was a coming-of-age story about two girls that grabbed the Emojan people's hearts. So it was a Yuri series. And it was a Yuri series that was so popular that everyone on the planet loved it. But eventually, a handsome man just showed up in this story. And it was like pouring hot butter over delicate sugar confections. Basically, a lot of people got pissed off. They're like, why the hell is there a man here? We don't want to see NTR in our Yuri romance series. The drama should be between the two girls. How dare you put another handsome guy in to steal the attention away from the women who aren't into Yuri? And so this enraged the viewers to the point where physical attacks started happening, and there was an all-out war. So there was an all-out shipper war that led to an all-out physical war that led to the planet being blown up. Everybody on this planet got blown up because of the fact that they were so obsessed with this Yuri series, and the author decided to throw a man involved in making it into a love triangle, and that pissed everyone off. So they started a war and it blew up the planet. But because the aliens on this planet are thought-based beings, they didn't perish when their physical form was destroyed. So instead, they let their thoughts drift into space, and eventually Omochi, his thoughts drifted onto planet Earth, and eventually it would inhabit dolls and stuffed animals of children that would talk to it. And it had fun. It had fun like chatting with kids and things like that. But eventually the kids would stop talking to the toys as they grew older. So Omochi would transform its consciousness to another toy. And it would just keep doing that until eventually it ended up with Akari. But the thing is that Akari never grew out of that phase. Akari would continue to talk to Omochi even as an adult. Well, not an adult, but even as a teenager. Like, it never grew past the imaginary phase. So Omochi just stuck with Akari because of that. And Omochi's like, if you want me to leave, I can. Akari's like, no, like, you're my imaginary friend. I don't care that you're an alien. I don't want you to go away. Like, I'm just surprised, but you've always been my side, and I want you to stay by my side. You're my friend. And so Omochi starts crying and promises to stay with Akari. And basically, Omochi just kind of becomes Runa's wingman in the sense that Omochi is trying to break down Akari's feelings of, is it wrong to date a girl, and push her towards dating and accepting Runa's marriage proposal. Yeah, as I said before, the series is just freaking weird. Akari is like the only normal person in this entire series. She's your typical plain high school girl, doesn't have any like abnormal things about her except the fact that she still talks to an imaginary friend, but it turns out that it's not imaginary, it's an alien. So yeah, everyone else is weird. Runa is freaking weird. She just instantly wants to marry Akari for reasons we have no idea. Her reactions are very weird. She is super obsessed. I mean, we saw like the fact that she was willing to burn her clothes so that she can wear Akari's. The fact that she memorizes everything that Akari uses and likes so that she can buy her, the exact duplicates of it. The fact that she straight up tells Akari, like, she's just blunt. Like, hey, I don't wear bras or underwears. And she just straight up tells Akari that to see if Akari will get embarrassed or might be into that. So Runa is just freaking weird. She's out there. Omochi's a freaking alien. Their school nurse is a girl that looks like a high schooler who's obsessed with schoolgirl uniforms. Their teacher is someone who proudly claims that she's single and she just wants to get a bunch of followers on her social media. Like, everybody's just freaking weird. And Akari's just stuck in this. And this is why I love this series so far, is because it's comedic gold. And I just love the fact that we have a straight character. Straight not in like a sexual way, but straight as in like the comedy straight man, where everyone else around this character is like weird and abnormal, and this character is the only one that's normal. And so it's just like this character trying to get through life where everyone around them is just freaking weird and out there. Akari is basically like the straight man in this series, where she's the only one that's normal, and everyone else around her is completely abnormal and weird and out there. And a lot of the comedy just comes from her like trying to deal with all this, just dealing with all the weird interactions, dealing with the fact that her best friend is an alien obsessed with Yuri, dealing with the fact that there's this weird popular girl who wants to marry her for reasons she has no idea, and this girl is just completely out there, out of her mind, and she's just trying to navigate through all this, and it's hilarious. So I highly recommend checking it out. I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can read it for yourself, like always. But yeah, I freaking love this series so far, and every chapter has like a weird twist. Like every chapter is like you think you're gonna, it's gonna go somewhere, and then it just goes in a completely different direction. Like Akari passing out, it's like, okay, she's gonna wake up at the school in the nurse's office, and maybe Runa is gonna be there. No, instead she wakes up in the nurse's office, and the nurse is just completely out of her mind. Like the nurse has her own weird issues and fetishes and stuff like that. She goes home, and then it turns out that the girl who loves her is just standing out in the rain, waiting for her to come in. The next chapter, she finds out that her stuffed animal is an alien. Like every chapter is just freaking weird, and it has like a weird twist that no one is expecting, and I love it. It's so good, and hopefully it just continues to just surprise me and make me laugh and things. But yeah, that's Yuri Panic. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.